Alright, so that's recording too, and let's grab some water first. Okie dokie, that ought to do it. Okay, that should work. What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Baird podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. This last week has been weird, and quarantine, the world feels weird right now. Roll music. Okay, so that intro didn't really explain a whole lot. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I just spent a week, and it doesn't feel like a week. The week just it was like I blinked and it just whooshed right past, and I don't like hearing myself. That's gross. And the week just whooshed right past without me really noticing it going by so quickly. And I mean, a lot happened, but yeah, it was weird. And it was filled with various weird occurrences. I caught myself at one point during the week. I had been talking to myself for 5 minutes, and it went from just trying to make a to-do list, and it devolved into me having a podcast episode all by myself and doing this but without recording it. And it was weird. And I've been pretty busy. This is a lie. I've done more than that, I promise you. That is new. I used to have a chalkboard there. I bought that. Besides the point, focus. The week whooshed right past, and near the end of it I was thinking about how I didn't really do much for the podcast recently. My goal was to have a consistent set and a few consistent segments. Obviously, we have the thing of the week. And the last podcast was a while ago already. It was with my sister, and we talked about entrepreneurship and stuff. Well, first of all, not even if you want to, you should really go check out last episode. It was really good. But believe it or not, we are already in episode 7 of the Baird podcast, which is absolutely crazy because it's been since New Year's and I'm only at episode 7. I was hoping to be at 20 by this point. And obviously I haven't done that, but I guess I thought I would talk a little bit about my creative process. But before that, the huge realization that I came to this week is I got to keep doing this podcast. I mean, I enjoy it, and I hope you guys know that I enjoy doing these, and they're a lot of fun. But I was looking at various podcast backgrounds, various gear and reviews and stuff, and I was trying to figure out what to make for a sign, because I was going to try and figure out how to make a neon sign. I ended up making one up there, but I was looking how to make a neon sign for a podcast and stuff, and one of the results was this 40-year-old man, and it made me really sad, because I had always said, oh, the podcast won't ever do anything cool, it'll just be a hobby, and I'll keep it going when I'm older. But I mean, there's no reason why I couldn't try and make something out of it. Because I mean, just by existing, I managed to meet an Australian guy. How crazy is that? And I've been, what are the chances of that? Without this podcast, I would have never met this really cool guy. That episode's coming. I promise. I'm working on it. But I would have never met this really cool guy, and I mean, it provided that really cool experience alone. And to be honest, I thought that was really cool, and it was kind of like an eye-opener that I don't want to be just some 40-year-old dad in his basement, just hiding in a dark room recording a podcast. I want to go places with this, and it's already, I haven't really put in that much effort into it, and I've met an Australian guy. I've talked to a bunch of other people. I've talked to 3 other podcasts. One of them was Russian, and I tried translating their podcast name. I think it's Dudes with Beers or something. I don't understand. But all of these really cool people that I would have never even heard of if I hadn't started this. And I was thinking, what's the shame in just shooting for the moon and seeing what the biggest name I could get on this podcast would be? Because it's really, I enjoy it, and the worst that could happen is I get rejected after writing an email or two. So, I mean, why not try? And also, I was thinking that I hadn't really been putting in a lot of effort into the look of the podcast. The last one wasn't too great. The lighting was bad and my hair was bad. I don't know about this one. I know I'm going to be a little glossy, but our air conditioning broke and it's very hot and raining outside, so it's super humid. So I think inside it's probably over 26 at this point, which doesn't seem bad, but when it's humid, it's sticky. But anyways, I wanted to put in a bit of effort into the podcast. This is going to be home to the upload schedule. So every episode you'll see a bit of a sneak peek of what's coming, if you will. It isn't up there at the moment. That's just personal stuff. And over here, I'm not sure if you can see it in the shot, the Baird Show, episode number 7, which is the one I'm recording right now. And that'll change based on the episode. And I got some nice Christmas lights. I got the sign up there. I got sound foam so it sounds better. And I just want to put some effort in because it's a really cool thing. And to tell someone about it, people have asked me oh, what is something you like to do? And I do this, and then they look at the YouTube page, and the last thing was 2 months ago. They're like, oh, so you just don't have fun then? No. I promise you, I do record podcasts. I feel I should put more effort into this because it's really fun, and the more effort you put in, the more you'll get out of it. And I don't want to be some 40-year-old trying to realize those dreams late in life. I want to get started on this. I want to go places and do things. So I don't know if this really means anything to anyone else at all, but I'm working on things. I have an episode planned with the Australian Baird, which I'm really looking forward to because he's a really, really nice guy. I'll have his Instagram down below if you want to go check it out. And he's super nice. And there's also I sent an email to the Minister of Health because I wanted to talk a little bit about the pandemic because obviously that's huge. But then there was the whole Black Lives Matter thing in the States, which I'm totally for. There needs to be change in the world because the way things have been is not okay. And obviously, I'm not the person to be telling you about this, but I'll leave some trustworthy sources down below. But yeah, the world's been all over the place, and I don't know, everything just has felt kind of, I don't know, I've been feeling kind of third person view of last week, and I feel that I need a routine and I need to get back to doing. And every few episodes of the podcast I'm always saying oh, I'm going to start this routine, everything's going to work, and it never happens. And that's just cuz I'm setting goals that are too big. I don't know if anyone else does this or if it's just me, but when you have a to-do list, you start with the easiest things and you cross them off and it feels good and it fuels you to keep going. But I need to do that for my goals. The goals that I've been keeping up with are eating a good breakfast, consuming the right amount of water. I don't know where my phone went. I forget what the amount I was consuming is, but got my water bottle, and I've been trying to learn stuff, new things, and trying to, I guess, be creative more. Because you can sit at a desk all day and do your job, but if you're not having fun and being creative, then why does any of that matter, right? So I don't know if this means anything to anyone else, but I am gonna try and change some things with me, which is always good, and gonna try and put more effort into the podcast because that's kind of slipped. I've had the most open time that I will ever have ever again, and I kind of didn't really do a lot of what I wanted to. So the next week is all just going to be me hitting those goals with the most enthusiasm and drive that I can muster, which, given the fact that they failed once, I don't know how well it's going to work. I'm not going to knock it yet because that's not good. Knock on wood, right? But I'm going to try. So, thing of the week time. I almost forgot that. The episode's almost over because I could ramble about this for a long time. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear myself talk for that long either. Thing of the week. I mean, I'm tempted to say this thing because I found it again and it's pretty neat, but I mean, let's not, right? So if we're not going to do that, then we will definitely have to I definitely have to go with Strava. It's you probably already know what it is. Either Strava or All Trails. All Trails was in the last episode. My sister brought it up for hiking, and I looked at a few of All Trails maps within the city that are close, and have been doing a lot of mountain biking. And Strava I've been using to track it, and just track my rides, and just to be able to know how far I've gone, how fast I went, like just basic stuff like that. And they've both been really useful. So I'll have a link to those down in the description, as well as next episode next episode is where I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how I record the podcasts and all that fun stuff, because that's like one of the only questions I've ever gotten about the podcast, and I've gotten it like 4 times, like, oh, how do you do that? What gear should I get? I want to record a podcast too. I even had a teacher ask me about that because they wanted to start a podcast as well for their students over quarantine, which in my opinion, A+ teacher, 10 out of 10. Good job. You've passed your, I don't know. Teacher has like a report card by the students. You've passed. Thank you. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this episode. It was a little bit scatterbrained, but I hope I made sense, and I hope I clarified like what has been going on in my mind, because I've been kind of spaced out, and the podcast has always been like an outlet for what I'm thinking, and my thoughts are just all over the place. So is this episode. But anyways, if you like this episode, you know what to do, and if you don't already, go follow the podcast/video, I don't even know what to call it, the podcasts page on Instagram at Baird Media, and that's pretty much it. Bye.